Welcome to Volume 2 of my beginner-friendly makeup tutorial. Hopefully you all watched Volume 1 where I showed you how to prime your skin, conceal, and apply foundation to achieve a smooth, even canvas. And here's a quick reminder, I'm going to be using a high-end product and a low-end product for each step. I want to give you options and I want to show you that all that matters is the technique. Next up, we're going to be doing highlighting and contouring. So I'm going to show you all how to highlight and contour, and then we're going to move on to setting your entire face. So let's get started. So now I'm going to be using the Can't Stop Won't Stop, but in a lighter shade, and this is in Golden. I'm going to be using the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and this is one of my faves. And I'm going to be using that in the shade Butterscotch. So I'm going to take it underneath my eyes and begin highlighting, and I'm going to, highlight everywhere else also. So I'm going to show you all how to highlight. So you're going to take it in this main area here. This is where you want majority of the highlighting to be, underneath your eye area. Then you take it here, highlight your Cupid's bow, and here, and here. Not much, but just a tad. The nose is going to be so hard to do. Taking the side that has nothing on it and just blending this out. And I like to take the butt of the Beauty Blender and just blend out this area because, like I said, it has nothing on it. So it's just going to smooth everything out on this end and make sure there's no like harsh lines from the concealer brush. This side, we're going to go in with the Born This Way. I know it probably looks crazy, but it's so hard, evening everything out, especially in this middle area because it's so small, such a small space you're trying to get, but I still want to keep the concept going of half and half, so. So next up, we have our contour products. So I love to contour. I feel like it gives you a nice little sculpt and it just makes your facial structure, pop. Especially if you have nice cheekbones, it just looks amazing. So, and if you don't have any cheekbones at all, it makes you look like you do have some. Some people have higher cheekbones than others. So, sculpting that area, it kind of slims you down in this area and it just makes everything else pop. It gives you a nice, sculpted look. So some people don't really like it, some people do. I like to take my foundation sticks and contour with those. So there's more of like a cream texture. And I like these because they're easy to work with. You can easily just rub it on, especially if it's just your product, you know, sanitation purposes, or you can take a brush and rub it on top. So I am going to be using the Black Opal True Color foundation sticks, and these are OG products. Like, I've been using these for years, and honey, it gives you a nice full coverage. I just think it's a little bit too much coverage for me, but it's a great contour stick. So I'm going to be using the color Black Walnut. I could actually use a lighter shade than this, but I don't have it with me. So I've been using this one and just making sure I blend it out really well, and you know, I'm good to go. So on the other side, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place foundation sticks, and this is the color Tunisia. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I will have it down in the description box somewhere. It'll be somewhere. I'm not gonna leave you hanging, honey. So this is a darker shade. It's kind of close to the Black Walnut. Black Walnut is a little bit more richer in color, I would say, but I'm going to be using these two. So let's go. So I like to take it and just go right under my cheekbone. That's actually good there. So I'm going to take my foundation brush, and since it's that duo fiber texture, just go in and stipple it out. And it just gives you that warmth right there in that area. And you saw how dark that color was. You can't really even tell how dark it was, you know, because you're blending it out well. And you can do the same thing with your forehead. There. You can do a little bit here. And a little bit on the nose area. So I'm going to do the same thing and take my brush and just start stippling everything out. Now when it comes to my nose contour, I like to use a smaller brush, or you can even use your finger, your pinky finger, just, you know, go along that line. But I'm going to use a brush just to show you all how to do it. And this is actually an e.l.f. brush, and I think it's like a crease brush or something, but or like a smudge brush. And this is where I would go in and just wipe some off because it's just too much product. But that's what happens when you use that stick like that sometimes, especially on this nose. It's hard for you to get in the grooves of your nose area, and you end up putting a little bit too much product. But it's fine. You can always wipe it off lightly with your finger, and it just blends everything in. So now we're gonna move on with the Juvia's Place. They're pretty much the same texture. You're going really smooth, nice and creamy, but firm. Do some here. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, go ahead and do it. And hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. don't forget. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Repeat the same steps. And just finish it off, because I think that's just the way to learn. Just do it with a brush, and it prevents you from making any mistakes. Well, it prevents you from making major mistakes, but like smearing it everywhere with your finger. But my nails are too long to do the little real finger trick today, but your finger can work just as well. But I'm also gonna go in with my beauty blender and just blend everything out. This actually gave off a little more product than the other stick, which is fine, but I still like to go in with my beauty blender and dab off any excess product that's just sitting there. So now it is time to set. When it comes to setting your face, you really want to make sure you get it done, honey, because you cannot go on throughout your day without setting your face. You have to do it. You have to do it. So using the Loreal Infallible setting powder on this side, and I'm going to be using the Mercier Translucen powder on this side. So I'm dabbing it in. I like to blow it lightly and then dab some on the back of my hand. And then I take it, dab it underneath where I want to set. And in this case, it would be all of the areas that I highlighted. And you definitely want to make sure you get under those eyes. That's what that good beauty blender is for. It has that point there, so you make sure you tap, 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 tap under that eye area. And you want to do this because that under eye area tends to crease the most. And some people crease over here, like on the lips too, so you can set that as well, like on the side of your mouth from talking and stuff like that. And that's really it. You dabbing, 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 and you're gonna let it sit for a while. So for the next side, I'm gonna go in with this Mercier Translucent powder. And you want to make sure you dab off any excess powder because you don't really want it to just be like chunks of it sitting under there. That means it will like set uneven. It'll, once you dust it off, it'll be like little holes or little circles where it was too much powder or chunks of powder just sitting there. All right, so while that sets, I'm going to go ahead and set my contours. So I'm going to be using these two products This is the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. And this is the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r Bronzer in Mocha Mami. And the color of this Super Stay is Java. And the Fenty Beauty is a little bit redder, and this one is a little bit more chocolate, but they're still gonna do the trick. So I'm gonna take a little brush, lightly dab it in the powder, and go over my contour lightly. Gives it a nice little bronze look. And you can take a brush. If you put too much on, you can just take a naked brush with nothing on it and just blend it out. Bam. So now we're gonna do the other side with the Fenty Beauty Mocha Mami. And a quick tip, the smaller the brush, the more dense it's gonna be. So it's gonna hold more product, it's gonna place more product on your face. So being that this brush is smaller and a little more dense than the other brush, it's going to place more product. It's gonna capture more product from the container, and it's going to just, you know, place more product on your face. So, you know, beware of that. If you're heavy-handed, you know, you wanna make sure you work with the light hand. So now I am going to take a naked brush and just brush over everything on my face. And it doesn't matter about different brushes on this part because you're just dusting off that translucent powder. So, I mean, when it comes to setting sprays, they have the NYX, that's a really good drugstore brand, the NYX Matte setting spray, and they also have a glowing setting spray. So if you want to get your hands on those, I have used those before, but like I said, I just moved not too long ago, so I don't have those with me right now. I'm going to be using my Fix Plus by MAC, which is my high-end brand that I love to use when it comes to finishing the makeup. Now when it comes to setting the makeup, that's a different story. If you're going to the club or somewhere where you're going to be sweating, like a festival or something like that, you want to make sure you set your makeup. Now when it comes to that, I love to use the Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. That's my ultimate favorite. Now these are products that I would recommend splurging on, something like that, something that's going to last and set your makeup in place. But I'm going to just show you all the transition, or just how it just really makes your makeup look really good. Show you how it's going to take this makeup and how it looks kind of dull and, you know, matte just from all of those setting powders I use. It's going to just make it look nice and glowy and just give you a nice finish. So let's go. So the one that I like is the Fix Plus Gold Light, and it has little specks of gold in it. So you shake it up really well. So you shake it up really well, and then you just spray it on. Our finish with the skin. We went through everything from foundation, well, from priming to foundation to concealing to highlighting to contouring to setting. So we did all of that. So the next step of this makeup tutorial will be the brows. So let's go. So stay tuned for volume 3 of my beginner-friendly makeup tutorial. I'll be covering how to achieve that snatched, natural-looking brow with ease. You don't want to miss it.